afternoon, good evening. This is Dr. Dabowski. I'm here to give you a little bit of a video and recap on Module 3, Chapter 9, which seems to be a difficult subject and topic for students. So I'm going to review a few brief exercises. These brief exercises can be found on the Connect blue link on Blackboard under brief exercises. These are extra problems that you could do if you have time. I know time is not even anything we should be discussing at this point, but I know maybe it would be helpful if I just went through it and you could take 8-9 minutes to watch this video and just get a few key concepts drilled into your brains, hopefully. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at these exercises now. So let's just look at this one exercise here. What we can see is on January 1st, Corvallis Carnivals borrows, again site word borrows, $17,000 to purchase a delivery truck by agreeing to a 6% 5-year loan with the bank. Payments of $328.66 are due at the end of each month, with the first installment due on January 31st, 2018, which is 1 month past when they borrowed the money. So it says in the first part, it says, record the issuance of the notes payable. So now we're going to talk about the notes payable. Well, we know there is a notes payable because they borrowed the money. So what happens in this transaction? Think about what is going on. The company borrowed money and they've got a delivery truck. So what is the asset? Did they use their own cash? No, they're borrowing cash, so we know they have some type of liability. What are they getting in exchange for that liability? They're getting a delivery truck. So how do we record the issuance of this note? So think about what would you do. So an asset is increasing, right? And we know that a notes payable is increasing. So if we go and take a look, we could see that that is for $17,000. So we debit equipment for $17,000 and we credit notes payable for $17,000. But they also want us on January 1st with the first installment due on January 31st. So when they make their first payment on January 31st, okay, so we want to record the issuance of the notes payable and the first monthly payment. So the first monthly payment means we need to figure out the interest expense. We know the total payment of $328.66 is going to be part interest and part principal. So since this is the first month, we can figure out 1/12. It's a 12-month note, correct? Okay, 5-year loan with the bank, right? We're going to be looking at the annual interest rate of 6%. So we're going to take 1/12 of that. So again, remember PERDI, principal, rate, and time would always be an easy way of getting something done. So here, principal is $17,000. 6% is your interest rate. 1/12 is your time. 12 is the denominator. It's 1 month because it's just January. So it would be $85 goes to interest expense. Then just subtract that from the total payment of $328.66. That means the notes payable principal will reduce by the difference of $243.66 and credit your cash. Easy peasy? Hopefully, right? Let's look at another example. Ultimate Butter Popcorn issues 5% 15-year bonds with a face amount of $43,000. The market interest rate for bonds of similar risk and maturity is 5%. So this is key. Remember, there's two interest rates. Can you find the stated rate or coupon rate? Yes, 5%. What is the discount rate, the market rate of interest? 5%. So the stated rate is equal to the market rate. So you should know up front that the issue price of these bonds is either going to be a premium, a discount, or at face value. What is it? Right, since the two rates are the same, they're going to issue out at face value, so the issue price has to be $43,000. So what is the interest payment going to be based on? Do we base the interest payment on the stated rate or the market rate? Correct. The stated rate always is the interest payment, right? So again, principal times rate times time. What is the market rate of interest? That's right, 5%. So let's take a look. So we would be able to see how this all plays out. So the market rate would be 5%, 15, right? Um, so we know, excuse me for a second. So we know that the face amount is 43,000. The interest payment is 1,075. How do we get that number? Right? So get out your calculators. Right? Don't be afraid to calculate things. Notice that the interest is paid semi-annually, right? So you're going to go ahead and multiply that out and you'll get the correct answer there. So when you want to go ahead and look at that, I'm going to bring this over for you so you could see this. If the market rate is going to be 5%, the bonds will issue at 43. The interest payment would be at 43 times the 5 times a half a year, or 1075. The market rate of interest, remember, since it's semi-annual, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to make this a little bigger. We're going to go ahead and make this half of that, right? So divide the market rate over here, right, is going to be marked by, excuse me, make this a little smaller. So we're going to take this and divide it by 2. And the periods to maturity, it's going to be 15 years, semi-annual times 2, so 30 periods. So again, if we were using tables, we would use 30 periods, 2.5% market rate to find the correct factors if we were doing present value factors. Note that in a lot of your homework problems, you'll be given the tables. You need to know which table to click on. You need to know the right type and subtype. Future value present of a single amount, present value single amount, future value of an annuity, present value of an annuity. You have to know the correct tables to use. Okay, so now that's that one. Let's say we go on to the next one. Okay, so here we're going to do it again semi-annually. 5% is the stated rate, but now the market rate is 6%. So in your mind's eye, should this bond issue at above or below face value or equal to face value? Well, the market rate is higher than the stated rate, so we're going to discount always using the market rate, which means more discounting is taking place, so it's going to end up pricing below the face value or a discount bond. So what is the interest payment going to be? Principal, 58, times 5%, remember it's always the coupon stated rate, times 6/12, right? The market rate of interest is going to be half of the market rate, or 3%, and the periods to maturity is 20 years times 2, or 40 periods. We would then go ahead and do step 1 and step 2 from my bond issuing prior presentation. Remember, we issued bonds. We do step 1, present value the principal, the face value. Then you present value the annuity payment of the interest, coupon payment, and add them together. So you would need to use the present value of a dollar table and the present value of an annuity table. Remember, we only use the present value tables for the bonds, and we use both subtypes. So if we go ahead, we can see the 58 is correct. We can go ahead and do the 1450. Okay, we can go ahead and say the market rate would be half of this market rate would be 3%. So in our tables for the future present value of a dollar, we'd look up 3%, 40 periods. Okay, multiply the 58,000 times that factor, and then add to it the cash payment, which we know the cash payment is going to be what? The interest payment's $14.50, and then times the factor for the same factors, which is 40 years and 3%. If you do that and add them together, you get about 51,296, and again, it's below face value because it's a discount. How about now we use a market rate of 4%? So now the market rate is below the coupon stated rate. So now we're going to discount always using this market rate, which means less discounting, which means this is going to price above face value, above $52,000. What is the interest payment going to be? Principal, 52, times interest rate. Always use the stated rate for interest, okay? 5% times 6/12, or 1/2, right? And then we can get the market rate of interest, which is half of the market rate because it's semi-annual. So 2%. Periods to maturity is going to be 5%. 10 years times 2, or 20 periods. If you do the issue price, add up the factors, add them together, you'll get 56. You'll get this to be a premium bond above face value. Beautiful. So now it says Pretzamania issues 5% 10-year bonds, face amount 53 for 53. So that means basically these issued out at face value. The market rate of similar bonds is 5%, which makes sense because that's equal to the stated rate. Interest is paid semi-annually on June 30th and December 31st. Record the bond issue and the first interest payment on June 30th. So they issued the bonds at 53. So what did they get for the bonds? They got cash, right? So debit cash, credit bonds payable for 53. What is the interest payment going to be? 53 times 5% times 6/12, right? Or 13.25. So debit the interest expense, credit cash. So record the bond issue and the related semi-annual interest. Here it's 6% coupon, stated rate, 10-year bonds, face amount 63, but they issued them for 58, below face value. So is that what is that? That's correct, it's a discount. On January 1st, the market rate of similar bonds was 7%. That makes sense. Discount rate this should be higher than the stated rate. That's why it's a discount. So now we have to record this. So how would we record these bonds? How much cash did they get? They only got the 58. That was the issue price, right? But they have a liability for 63. The difference between these two is another special type of an account called a discount on bonds payable, which is a contra liability account. So we'll record the cash, set up the bonds payable for the face amount, and the difference goes to discount on bonds payable, a contra liability account. The first interest payment is going to be made. So what is the interest expense going to be? Well, it's going to be the 63 face value. Always use face value, always use the stated rate, times 6/12 because it's semi-annual, gives you 1890. And then this premium of 44.77, right? This is a 10-year bond, right? But there's 20 periods, so you just divide the 44.77 by 20. And you get the amount of the amortization of the discount. Well, I'm going to end the video here. This was a good brief exercises. I try to do this when I can. Hopefully you'll see similar problems in your homework travels. Hang in there. You all are doing great. Keep up the good work. I know accounting isn't all that easy, but you're doing great, guys.